So Caterpillar in general, we've been in the energy storage market for almost a decade. So actually a little over a decade, we've been doing inverter technologies. So our inverters are part of our electric drive machines. We also have been doing them in electric power applications and being able to help provide greater efficiencies for our generator sets and for our customer applications. So as we develop inverters, our primary focus is trying to help our customers on their full application and how we bring all of it together to give them a better solution at the end. So we pair our inverters typically with our gen sets to be able to provide greater efficiency. You run an engine at its optimal load levels, you're able to get lower fuel usage or optimal fuel usage within the system, and you can actually help with reducing the service life intervals of the gen sets as well. Overall, we also are able to run our inverters in a grid forming mode. So in applications where we have customers that aren't connected to the utility or don't want to connect to the utility, we can use grid forming to bring in renewable assets and be able to provide, as we showed with the TPG, the ability to run with engines off and then be able to integrate all that together. So as we bring in our ECS system, so you'll see our ECS 400 here in a minute, we can actually now, as we start bringing in those products, we can time shift energy. So we could use the solar when we have excess solar and then stretch that through longer periods of time. And then as we build our site controls and ECS products together, we can now take more complicated systems and more complex sequence of operations together. So this product is actually our smallest energy storage product of the family. So this is actually targeted more at our rental customers. So this is what we call the XES 60. So this is intended to be more of those applications where maybe you have very low loads. So we've got customers where they start up a plant in the morning and it's a little bit of a higher load. So we'll start with the generator on it. And then as it runs throughout the day, you may only be 10, 20 kilowatts of load throughout the day. So you don't want to run an engine down at those low load levels. It gets wet stacking, it causes fuel inefficiencies, a lot of different issues. So we can actually run on the battery for a long period of time. And then the battery's smart enough to be able to tell the generator when it starts getting low, turn the generator back on. And then we run that generator a little higher load factor now because it's both charging the battery and feeding the load. So you can actually pass through in the bottom half of this, the connections that will pass through the generator to the load, and then it also charges the battery. This one also has connections for solar, so we can set a small solar panel to this. We used this at Mine Expo a couple years ago to actually charge during the day, and then we charged a mini excavator every night, and then we ran it during the day. And so we ran for the week and a half or whatever it was of the Con Expo with nothing but solar energy powering that machine. We are able to bring in, again, other sources. We have the potential for the solar, and then we also have the battery that's powering there. So it's a very small amount of load right now. We're actually powering the ECS 400 that's over there right now. And then the only other thing is that it's just a forced air system that you're hearing the fans that are running to be able to keep it cool as we've got the sun out. And during the day, half the time those will just turn off and it'll just sit here quietly still providing power. This one's 24 kilowatts. It is 56 kilowatt hours at 208 volt. So we have another one of these that's its big brother that's at 120. So that's basically doubling the size of the system. It's a little bit longer. But again, those are targeted a little bit more of our rental applications. We have large inverters where we have our largest systems are 1 megawatt inverters, and other products that we're working on you'll see as part of the Joule release of our other energy storage products that we have as well. So that there's bus bars underneath this door, and then you've got normal, like we said, an output. This is actually for a larger connection. These are the solar connections that you'd be those are the solar connections over there. So, and then that you can actually tie multiples of these together across the DC links. So the batteries in the bottom of the box, you can tie the DC links together in parallel to get more runtime. So we are in some applications, we're doing some things where we're supporting utilities. There's one of the real things that we do a lot of is what we call power grid stabilization. So we're being able to dispatch really quickly. So there's applications that we've got some papers on where we've done winding loads where you get these large, so basically a winder pulling minerals up out of the ground. You get a 7 megawatt block load every 60 seconds. And so it was on a hydro plant, and that was extremely disruptive to the hydro plant. So putting in energy storage, we're able to help basically the battery. We sized it such that the hydro plant just ran constantly. When we took the peak and discharged and found the valley and we recharged, and as long as the area under the curve on the peak and the area under the curve there, we just kept running all day long. And so the hydro plant thinks it's just this nice stable load, and the battery discharges and recharges all day long, supporting that.